The word doppelganger is said to be an apparition or double of a living person. Many have their own views on the word, as some think it's just a random person in the world that shares similar qualities with you. Others think it's a form of paranormal phenomenon and believe if you see your own doppelganger, it's a sign your time is soon to come. Here are 3 true creepy doppelganger encounters. I'm shaking as I write this, mainly because it happened only a couple of minutes ago. I came home expecting to rest before work. I had come back from school and still had a couple of hours to kill before I headed off. My living room couch is a great napping spot, and I like to have the TV on in the background. I try looking for the remote, but it's completely missing. I can't find it, but I turned my back for a moment and turned back to the couch, and it's neatly placed in front of me on a pillow. Funny. As I'm turning on the TV, it's black, and I can see the living room reflected in it. Myself in the mirrors behind me, reflecting the image once more. However, I see my reflection in the mirror behind me, and I notice it's more slender and doesn't seem to be the back of my head. I move a couple of times and it moves too, but it doesn't match my movements. I stopped moving, but it kept moving, and then it disappears. I tried to mimic the same movements, but I couldn't because I'm short and my reflection would never show up in the mirror behind me. And now I'm shaking and I don't know what to do. This is the first time I've ever encountered anything like this. I've had more subtle experiences, but this was extremely straightforward. This nearly happened to me 15 years ago and it still freaks me out. I was 15 at the time and I was dating this boy from my neighborhood. We fell into this routine of him riding his bike over to my house every day after school. This boyfriend of mine rode on one of those BMX bikes, had bleach blonde hair, and wore the same style of camouflage cargo pants with a black hoodie every freaking day. Well, one day, I had a friend's mom drive me home from school. As we pulled up into my driveway, I see my boyfriend pedaling on his bike, coming towards my house. It was definitely him with the blonde hair and the signature outfit. I think to myself, oh good, he's already here. As I get out of the car, I take my eyes off of him for no more than 5 seconds it took to shut the car door and turn back around. When I turned back around, he was gone. There wasn't a trace of anyone on my quiet suburban road. I was so confused. Before he vanished, I had a visual on him for at least a minute or two. I know I saw him, and there was no way he or anyone would have had enough time to take off in the seconds that I turned my back. I ran inside and called him at the house. This was before we had any cell phones. He was still at his house and hadn't even left yet. I don't know what the fuck I saw that day, but it looked 100% like my boyfriend. Whatever it was, I always wondered what would have happened if I hadn't taken my eyes off of it. Let me start with a bit of background. I work graveyards with weekends off. On Sundays, I'll usually nap with my husband for a few hours, then I'll stay awake and take some Benadryl to help me sleep around 9 a.m. Last night I was exceptionally tired, so I went to sleep around 12:30. I set my alarm for 2 o'clock and got up to let the dogs out and have a smoke or two while I went on Reddit and Facebook. We have a sunroom that we smoke in, and the dining room has a huge window that looks into the sunroom. Around 2:20, I was wide awake and browsing on my iPhone. I looked up and saw my husband peeking at me through the dining room window. I looked at him, kinda smiled, and he went back behind the wall where I couldn't see him anymore. He peeked his head out a couple more times. I was laughing and asked if he wanted to join me. The third time I got up and went and looked inside. I didn't see him and figured he was waiting for me in the garage to scare me. I opened the door to go inside and I didn't see him there at all. The dogs didn't make any gesture that they saw him either. By this point I was freaking out a bit. I went into our bedroom and he was fast asleep. I woke him up freaking out, asking if he was messing with me. He swears he wasn't, and I know he wasn't by the way he was sleeping. He later told me to Google doppelgangers because he has seen them all over the ghost shows he watches. Apparently it means he's going to die. I came to work with him today because I'm all freaked out now.